Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. We have an update for you guys regarding the Boehly Vivid Seats situation. There has been a response from the Chelsea Supporters Trust. Now, why is this important? This is important because the Chelsea Supporters Trust represents none other than the supporters. So it is in our best interests to see how this goes, and maybe something will happen. There should be some changes because it's certainly a very strange situation that we have at the moment with the club. It's a conflict of interest, which is why this is being brought to light. This wouldn't matter as much if it was the Glazers selling Chelsea tickets on Vivid Seats. It wouldn't matter as much if it was FSG. The fact that it is our own owner that is selling seats from Chelsea on Vivid on Vivid Seats. That's why this has become a story. So, for those of you wondering why people are making a big deal out of it, if it was another owner, it wouldn't be such a big issue. It's because it affects Boehly's own club. Boehly is an owner of Chelsea, but also a director of Vivid Seats as well. The two can't go hand in hand, right? It's very strange. He's making money off of both sides because Chelsea will obviously get commissions from Vivid Seats, I can imagine, and obviously Vivid Seats will get their percentage as well. So it's that's the situation at the moment. Big up to everyone that's watching. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't. And let me know what you think in the chat. I will be answering all your questions as well as going through the update with the CST and what they've said, and we can address any other issues as well. Big up to you, Thomas. I hope you're doing well, mate. Have you ever been more Boehly or Egbali? That's a good question. Well, based on what you've seen today, you'd probably say that you would edge towards Egbali because it's not Egbali that's having this problem. But to be honest, I think that Boehly is still better than Clearlake. But that doesn't make any of them good. But he's I would rather him than them. At least he's shown in America, even though it's very financially driven still, that they can win. And if we were winning, if we were more successful under this ownership, I don't think these problems would be highlighted as much. They would still be highlighted, but would they be as much of an issue? Would there be as much anger within the fan base if the owners were running the club the way that they are now? But we were in a similar position to Arsenal or Liverpool. If we had a trophy to show for it after 3 years, that's the concern here, isn't it? It's not just the way the club's being run off the pitch, it's the way we're being run on the pitch. And the fact that we're not getting the results is a key factor as to why fans are unhappy with what's happening off the pitch as well. Big up to you as well, Ben. I hope you're doing well, mate. Big up to everyone that's watching. I have to say, I'm not impressed with these articles that are coming out. Not in the sense that, I mean, it's obviously good journalism. Don't get me wrong, but you want to think of your club and think, where are we going? What are we going to do next? What's the next step here? Who are we looking to sign? And instead, we've got internal affairs that should never have ever happened. It should have never ever been allowed to happen. Ben talks football. He says, I'm American, but most American owners that own a club in England are very successful in American sports. The Kroenkes just won the NBA finals and the Stanley Cup. Yeah, but it's different. Again, if this was the same as Arsenal, and let's sort of, you want to erase probably about 10 years of that history. Ever since Stan Kroenke's son got involved with Arsenal, they started spending more money and they took it seriously, and the club is in a better direction. Yeah, everything is there to win. Now they have their budget. That's fair, But it's different. Like if you look at the league table, like we are just not being well run at all. I mean, there are clubs run worse than us at the moment. You could look at Tottenham, you could look at United, but based on the trajectory we're looking at right now, if we weren't to get Champions League football, we would be in the mud. If we were to get Champions League football, that would relieve a lot of stress. But again, this goes back down to the transfer business that we did, or lack of, in terms of incomings. We got rid of so many players, and we decided that the best thing to do was to sign a player for Strasbourg and then sign a player who's going to be going to Strasbourg next season anyway. And that's going to be our backup for Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, a 19-year-old from Strasbourg who's only played 17 games. And when I say 17 games, I'm being generous. That includes 4 minutes against Lyon. Does that count? Anyway, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I'll just highlight the initial article. I think the Telegraph actually come out with this initially, but then obviously we had other people reacting to the Sun as well, and it's all to do with Vivid Seats. Now, this article says Todd Boehly's Vivid Seats involvement sparks fury among Chelsea fans, and you can see here, Premier League club Chelsea co-owner Todd Boehly's involvement in Vivid Seats has provoked fury among Chelsea supporters due to the site's unauthorised resale of tickets to foreign tourists, according to Ben Rumsby of the London Telegraph. Vivid Seats is a secondary marketplace in which Boehly is an investor and director. It does not allow UK-based fans to buy or sell tickets, a practice which would be illegal. However, it does permit foreign-based users to tout tickets for up to tens of thousands of pounds, on which it charges 10% commission and a service fee reported to run from 20 to 40% of the original ticket price. That raises the prospect of Boehly profiting from a practice his own club has repeatedly denounced. A fan said, "The fact that our owner could be benefiting personally at the expense of loyal supporters is hypocritical at best and downright dishonest at worst." Rumsby noted that there are tickets advertised on Vivid Seats for what appears to be this season's remaining matches of every Premier League club. The resale of football tickets was made a criminal offence in 1994, and the proliferation of foreign-based websites selling them raises questions about whether the law is fit for purpose. So you think whatever you want to think about what you're seeing there, but it's not good, is it? It's not good at all. I am not happy with that. I mean, it's just pathetic, really. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. Anyway, let's see what we're saying. Titan says the manager's yes man. It doesn't feel like Chelsea anymore. Well, he's not a manager. He's a coach. He agreed to become a coach. He's a good coach, but he's been put in a difficult position. We will never have a manager that isn't a yes man, because the recruitment will make sure that they get that right from the beginning, whether that impacts what we see on the pitch, as long as they're happy with other aspects of the pitch, and they can basically do whatever they want without any form of consultation from the manager. I mean, the manager can say what he wants. Doesn't mean that that actually means anything. He's not taken seriously. Maresca said, "I'm happy about the January transfer window." I'm sorry, Maresca. I don't believe that. I mean, if it's true, fair play, but I don't believe it. That's the truth. Why are these owners signing players for the future? Why not sign players for the present? Why not experienced players? That's a great question, Faded. Let us know in the chat as well if you want to respond to that question, because they're very good questions. Well, the reason we're signing young players is so that we can get them on long contracts at a lower rate than we would, so it's easy to offload them. We also know that if we get a young player on a 7-year deal, even if they don't perform, you could send them on loan for 6 years and potentially still make profit based on some of the signings we've made. If not, you can offload them anywhere and their wages aren't a problem. And we go from there. But Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with not gradually bringing young players in with experienced players as well. We could have had a great transfer window if we'd have just had one top player on top of what we had. One top player, good striker. I don't think anyone would have complained. There would have still been problems. There would have still been holes, but we would have solved a massive, massive issue. But instead, we decided not to. And we keep talking about next summer, next January. How many next is there going to be? At this rate, we're going to be a next franchise. You know, it's pun intended, but it's not good. It's not good at all. Do you think these owners genuinely look for the best interests of the club or only for profit? For me, it's a mix of both. It'd be interesting to know what you think they want for the club and what you want for themselves. Let me know what you think in that sense. I think that it's profit. That's what I think. And I think if it's good for the club, it's generally good for making money in the sense that, look, a successful club is a club that will generate more revenue. But can you be successful by spending the least amount of money possible? Maybe that's part of the aspect of where they're looking. Also, stadium, that's going to be a massive thing in the coming year with the Chelsea pitch owners, the CPO. I myself am a member of the CPO, and I'm totally on the fence. I don't know what to think. I spoke to the Sun. I did a documentary, a segment in a documentary when the protest was actually happening. And at that time, I was very much pro Earl's Court. I was very happy to move. But I spoke to Johnny and I spoke to Stevie and all of those guys. And I have to admit that there's a real argument not to move just because of the implications for the club potentially if the owners get everything their way. Now, if the CPO was to still have the power in Earl's Court, that's fine. But I don't know. Who's to say that whatever the selling point of going to Earl's Court with 20,000 extra seats isn't going to happen anyway, the same as it would in a stadium like we have right now. So let's say what we have, 43,000 seats. And the prices will obviously go up because we want to compete with Arsenal and Liverpool and United, all of these teams that have bigger stadiums than us to generate more revenue. Our hospitality prices, some of them have doubled, some of them have tripled. They said that the regular price increases at Chelsea were going to be 5%. My season ticket went up by 8%, and I'm in the Matthew Harding. So I can imagine it's probably the same for most people. So I don't know where that comes from. Incremental increases are not a problem, but we will have another price increase next season. I guarantee it. We will have a price increase after that. It will not stop. Now, if we were to move to a bigger stadium, the argument is that because we're going to be in a bigger stadium, we're not going to need to raise the prices for as many seats. Now, which club actually does that? Which club freezes the price of the tickets because of the fact that they have more seats? Because last time I checked, Chelsea still have one of the cheapest tickets that you can get in terms of season tickets that there is out there. You've got Fulham tickets that are twice as expensive as Chelsea. Fulham fans are being priced out. Now, again, they have a smaller stadium than us, so maybe that's part of it. So maybe that's not a best example. Look at Arsenal. Very expensive. It's hard to get to an Arsenal game for less than 100 quid these days. You can easily get a Chelsea ticket for 70 quid, 60 quid. Now, mine on average costs, 45? Very cheap. But the question is, how long is it going to stay like that? Is it going to be 45 next year? Is it going to be 55? Maybe there's going to be a 20% increase if we had Champions League football because they can actually justify the increase based on the results we're getting on the pitch. But is that good enough? No, we need to be winning titles. And that's the problem, isn't it? Josh, hey, Alex, shocking news coming out. I don't trust anything they say. It's very hard to trust anything, isn't it? But hey, there you go. Johnny's been telling you this and you guys mugged him off. I spoke with Johnny. Johnny's the one that persuaded me to look at both sides, and that's the reason I'm split down the middle. I was pro Earls Court, and now I don't know, because I understand his perspective as well. There's things I don't agree with Johnny on, but I do appreciate that if we went to Earls Court, that is a leverage that is purely financial for these owners. But again, you want the best financial situation for your club, full stop. And that's, you know, they both have implications on Chelsea, positive and negative. It's just where you look. But I'd love to know your thoughts on it as well. Do you think there is a genuine plan when signing all the youngsters as we stockpile them all, yet we never seem to manage them well? Well, it's a very strange process in terms of recruitment, isn't it? You look at the players that come out the door. A lot of these guys replace ready-made players, and that's the problem, isn't it? Is that we brought youngsters and expected them to do the same thing. We said we were going to develop them, and then we've shipped them off, or we haven't given them a chance, because partly we're stockpiling, but also they're just crap. Is Dewsbury Hall really good enough for Chelsea? No. Why was João Felix sent out on loan? That's such a strange decision. That doesn't help us whatsoever. It's not even a good financial decision. It's a £5 million loan. You still got 40 million to claw back in a permanent transfer. Do you really think his transfer value has gone up since he's been at Chelsea? What suggests that? What, his goals against Panathinaikos and Barrow? Come on, guys. But I do think Strasbourg is a good avenue for young players. That is part of the model that I do like. The multi-club model was always a good idea in my view. Man City have done it very well. I think Chelsea are actually doing a good job with Strasbourg. There's been protests with Strasbourg as well, which I appreciate. They don't want to be owned by an American consortium, but that's just how it is. Even though they've been performing, it's deeper than that for the French. Now, if we were anything like as passionate as they were, it would be much bigger and much worse and much more. You'd hear a lot more about it on the news, but unfortunately, people don't really want to get up and protest. And I would happily support a protest, you know, or at least go to it. I mean, I don't know what the protest would specifically be about, but if it's to do with, you know, bringing our club into the mud because of the financial standpoint and draining the club and doing anything like what the Glazers have done at Man United, then I think you can absolutely appreciate that. But yeah, I think we've got a little way to go. But this was the first step for a lot of people. And yeah, there's two sides to everything. Me personally, I've been very patient when it comes to the ownership. I don't think there's anything wrong with being patient. I'm happy to be proven wrong. Well, I'm not happy with it, but I'm, you know, I now I know. I can say, well, you know what? I thought that I knew more than, well, I thought that there was better intentions than what I've actually seen. And that just hasn't been the case, has it? So it's quite sad, really. But hey, we're here. We're going to try our best as a fan base to try and communicate with the ownership. And this is exactly why the Chelsea Supporters Trust has come out and done what they've done, right? And we're going to address that right now. So just bear with me. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go and we're going to read the response. So the Chelsea Supporters Trust members do not have faith in Chelsea FC to combat ticket touting. The Chelsea Supporters Trust provides an update on ticket touting and Vivid Seats. Here we go. So last week, the Chelsea Supporters Trust conducted a short survey regarding ticket touting and the illegal sale of tickets on third-party websites. On Friday, the 31st of January, the survey results were presented in full to Chelsea FC. The key findings from Chelsea Supporters Trust members were: over 2/3 of supporters believe that ticket touting is a problem at Chelsea FC. 68% of supporters do not believe that Chelsea FC is doing enough to combat ticket touting. Only 9% of supporters believe that Chelsea FC is doing enough to combat ticket touting. 69% of supporters are not well informed as to what Chelsea FC is doing to reduce ticket touting. And only 17% of supporters have confidence in Chelsea FC to combat ticket touting. So it's interesting looking at the stats, quite a few down there. Most people think that it is a problem, and most people don't think Chelsea's doing enough to combat it. I would argue against that. I do think that Chelsea have, they if you go to the matches, you can clearly see that there's signs, not just in English, but in Chinese and other languages, if I'm not wrong, talking about touting, and you're not allowed to do it. That never used to be there, number of years ago. So I'm not sure I'd say I'd agree with that, but it is certainly a problem. I wouldn't say that I'm particularly informed as to what they're doing to reduce touting, so I would agree with 2/3 of the supporters there. And only 17% of supporters have confidence in Chelsea to combat ticket touting. But, none of this has anything to do with Vivid Seats. So let's see if that comes up. So the Chelsea Supporters Trust comment on ticket touting at Chelsea FC, and I quote, "The alarming findings of this survey have indicated that supporters do not have faith or trust in Chelsea FC to combat ticket touting, and that the club has failed to protect its loyal supporters from the ongoing exploitation of ticket touting. It is vital that the club provides immediate reassurances to supporters and must demonstrate that they are taking effective action to combat ticket touting through greater communication, stricter resale policies and sanctions, and additional enforcement against illegal ticket selling." Despite warnings from the Chelsea Supporters Trust, the trend of data indicates that supporters have become increasingly dissatisfied with the anti-touting measures in place at Chelsea FC over the past 2-3 years. Now is the time to take proper, meaningful steps to address this. It is not simply about ticketing. It is about respecting and protecting the lifeblood of Chelsea FC, its supporters. In response to recent reports connecting Todd Boehly and Vivid Seats, the Chelsea Supporters Trust has issued the following comment. Vivid Seats is currently lists hundreds of Chelsea FC general admission tickets at significantly inflated prices. As these tickets are not sold by Chelsea FC's website, they are considered by the club to be illegal sales. Within the recent Chelsea Supporters Trust ticket touting survey, many Chelsea Supporters Trust members suggested that Mr. Boehly's connection with Vivid Seats is a breach of trust and it could be a conflict of interest. These recent reports are very disappointing, and it is within Mr. Boehly's interests, his best interest, to investigate these issues and address supporters' concerns. We do not believe it is appropriate for any Chelsea tickets or wider Premier League tickets to be listed on the Vivid Seats website. I think this is a perfectly fair message. So yeah, that's my stance. I think it's a very, very fair message. It was respectful. It stated the facts, and it asked simply for Boehly to acknowledge what this issue is. And it's not even saying take it down. It's saying investigate. I mean, you can't really get much more polite than that, but we understand what they're saying. And I think it would be, well, I'd be surprised if you disagree with that. I mean, does anyone disagree with what the Chelsea Supporters Trust is saying here? Does anyone think that they're out of order for trying to get the club to at least acknowledge what fans are seeing right now? Because if I was a United fan, I'd be laughing at Chelsea. I laugh at United because of the Glazers. I still feel bad in a way because, it's nasty, isn't it? You don't want to ever see that happen to any club, but it's not Chelsea, so I'm not that bothered. Everyone's laughing at us. Even our own owner is milking us. It's got nothing to do with the club. It's a separate company, and he's still making money off of us. It's crazy. It's not even a club asset. Selling third-party tickets. And the way they make their money is through the commission, again. So for those of you who are thinking, well, how did they make their money? So it permits foreign-based users to tout tickets for up to tens of thousands of pounds, and it charges 10% commission and a service fee, which is reported to run from 20 to 40% of the original ticket price. So whatever the ticket price is, you get a 10% commission added on there, on top of a 20 to 40% service fee just to get a ticket. So imagine you go on the Chelsea website as a member on the VWR and the virtual waiting room or whatever, and you're trying to pick up a ticket, and the ticket's 100 quid. But we're going on a Vivid Seats example here. So that price is set at 50 quid. But just to buy that ticket, the commission is an extra tenner. We'll say 100 quid, yeah? So a tenner, yeah? 10%. And then they want an additional 20 to 40% of the original ticket price. So for a £100 ticket, realistically, you'd be looking at about 130, 140 pounds. 40 quid of the £100 is going to Vivid Seats. So it's quite a decent chunk. You know, it's very profitable, but that doesn't make it right. It's the moral side that upsets me and upsets a lot of other fans as well. Yeah, fair play to Johnny. Absolutely. He was him and Nunes. They're the ones that I saw that as well, and I was shocked. To be fair, I was absolutely shocked. And it's obviously been covered by mainstream news as well. It's been covered by the Telegraph. It's been covered by the Sun. I don't know if anyone else has covered it. It's all a trading game with the owners. They treat players like buying and selling shares. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's been the treatment of players from this club has been just horrible. And that's why I was shocked that Chalobah came back. Now, some people are saying it was a contractual clause. He didn't have a choice. He had a choice. He could have said, fuck you, I'm not coming back. I don't want to play for you. You didn't even let me train with the first team. You didn't even let me train. I had to train on my own. What kind of a club does that to its own player? It's not even a player you bought. It's a player you brought up. It's one of your own. Honestly. Not the last time we'll see treatment like that either. We'll see other players being treated a very similar way. Get them out. Fair enough. It would be interesting if we got a transfer ban for, let's say, 2 years, as it would force us to actually use our options for once. I reckon it would be good. Well, no, I don't think it'd be good to have a transfer ban, but I appreciate where you're coming from. We just bring up youth players to then go and sell them for a profit as soon as the window's open anyway. Seems to me like interest is shifting to Earls Court for the new stadium. Well, what's your thoughts on it, May? Would you go to Earls Court? Me personally, take the owners out of the equation. I would. I think it's in the best interest of the club. But if you take the owners out of the equation, if you put them into the equation, it creates a whole new dimension, right? Normally, if you're a club, let's just say Abramovich in this case, we relocated to Earls Court. He sold the site of Stamford Bridge at the moment, that land, which is probably worth hundreds of millions, maybe even $1 billion, maybe more, I don't know, and uses that to construct on the new site. We know that Abramovich would use that money for the stadium. He would reinvest the money that he sold the old property for and put it into the stadium. I'm hearing talks of the UK government getting involved for this Earls Court stadium because it's in their best interest. Because again, additional revenue, more tax for the country, blah blah blah, etc. But what is to say that we look at moving to Earls Court, sell the stadium, and don't use that money? Leverage debt, something like that, like the Glazers have done. I don't know what it is. Something that shouldn't really be happening. I mean, again, I'm not a financial expert. I don't really know. You know, I understand PSR, I understand a few things. I don't know the ins and outs of what these guys can do with their money, or other people's money, to be quite frank, because it's not Boehly's money, is it? It's a hedge fund. It's a hedge fund. So they are using other people's money. At least I'll give Boehly this. It's his own money. It's Boehly's money, isn't it? So, you know, it's him. So he is not the main concern for me. He's you know, I'd be more concerned about Clear Lake. But I hear Clear Lake are in favour of just rebuilding at Stamford Bridge. And that doesn't seem like the type of thing that they would want to do. But again, the CPO are going to have full control. If you're in the CPO and you want to vote your way to stay at Stamford Bridge, you have the power to do that. And I hear people saying on Twitter that the CPO is like a cancer. You couldn't be further from the truth. The CPO is the glue that keeps everything together. The CPO budges for no one. They don't care what you're saying on Twitter. They have genuine passion for this club, genuine care. They have an annual meeting every year. I've been to 2 or 3 of them. Great people, the CPO. People that love Chelsea, that have loved Chelsea for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, maybe longer. You need to respect the CPO. If you don't understand what the CPO is, I highly recommend you research it. It's a fantastic thing that we have. It's fantastic. Give you an idea, guys. Roman Abramovich wanted to buy out the CPO many years ago, 10, 12, 13 years ago. He tried to get total control of the pitch, and the CPO voted against it. So he couldn't do it. He tried buying out CPO shareholders. He tried buying shares through people. None of it worked because you need a majority vote. I think you need 60% or higher. You need a good amount of. In fact, I'm not even sure. I'm going to look that up. Chelsea pitch owners voting. I'm sure it's like 50. It's a good percentage you need. Voting results for 2025. Let's see, what was that? Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. So there is 15,000 CPO shareholders in over 80 countries around the world. Let that sink in. You don't just have to be a match-going fan to become a shareholder of a Chelsea in the Chelsea pitch owners. Anyone can buy a share. They're not cheap. They're not £10. They're not £5. It's like £100, maybe more. But it's something that is worth having, guys. You literally own a part of the club. You have a genuine say in what happens with regards to the pitch, and I think it's a great thing that we have. It's a very good thing. I'm just. Yeah, I mean, I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, but the point is you need a large majority over the CPO to gain any form of control of the stadium. If let's just say Boehly wanted to take over the pitch, and the CPO is obviously going to vote against it, but he could try and overturn it. It wouldn't happen. So they're going to have to try and sweeten up the CPO if they want to do anything. How's that going to happen? I don't know, because it doesn't look like the Chelsea Supporters Trust is very happy with the club. And I can't imagine the CPR either. What's my thoughts on the ticket issue in general, not the Vivid Seats thing? What do you mean in terms of accessing tickets? I'm very lucky. I'm well connected. I don't go on the virtual waiting room very much, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do. I know people, and I get tickets through people, not through the club. I have season tickets at Stamford Bridge. I do apply every now and then, and sometimes I get tickets and sometimes I don't. But if I'm totally honest with you, I just don't see the point of being a member. I just never have, because unless you go to every single game, you don't really have a fair chance of getting tickets on a regular basis. You will get them, but you have to be so switched on. And even if you are, I know people that have all of their accounts connected. They have family accounts. They have friends that manage 10, 12 accounts just to try and help with tickets. And I respect the hustle, because I don't think I could do it. I'm not that organized. So yeah, anyone who's a member and gets tickets on a regular basis, you have my absolute respect, especially if you're getting it through the VWR. But I think a lot of match going fans, especially away fans as well, will agree with me that a great way of doing it is just knowing people. If you know someone that can get tickets, then that's how it works. You ask the people with access to it, and they'll either help you or they won't. But again, it comes back down to what I've said, and with some of these guys, you'll end up paying higher prices as well. But that's your decision, isn't it? If it was my decision, would I stay at Stamford Bridge or move to Earls Court? Honestly, mate, I'm in the middle. As I said, I'm on the fence. If they wanted to win, we would be bringing in winners and experienced players. That's a very fair point, Ben. Big up, Alex. Trust the protest. Clown Lake out. I hope you're doing well, Stephen. SW6 Blues. I live in America. All business around this way, and now since the lockdown. Yeah, but we're trying to address the football club, mate, not just the business. I know it's a business. It's always about money. Nobody's complaining about them making money. We're not silly. They didn't come here to come and shake our hands and have all this media attention, not to come out with at least $1 billion or 2 billion, whatever it is. But it's the extent of how financially driven. That's the worrying thing. Employees get less and the boss gets more. Most companies don't even give bonuses no more. It's not good, man. It's not good. Why hasn't Boehly resigned as chairman of Vivid Seats? That is something that we will hopefully find out later down the line. I'm sure he will come out and address it. I hope he does. Surely the owner's fit test, why wasn't this brought up by the Premier League and the relevant bodies? And this is the question, right? Why are they rejecting, for example, the Saudi bid? Or no, it was a Qatar bid that we had. But yet this is good enough. Where is the logic? It's difficult to justify, isn't it? Why aren't the match going protesting this? Well, I mean, we did have a protest. It wasn't a big protest, Stephen, but there was one. It just depends how bad things get. I think if the results go well, you probably won't see a protest. If the results continue to go downhill, then you will see a protest. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Do you think they would? I don't know. You say that. I really don't know. I think that the main financial, it's got to be match days, obviously Champions League money, and the stadium. If they can flip the stadium to increase the value of that, and increase prices on everything on a match day, then it is within the. It's still very much within their interest to stay. I don't think they'd leave even with a 5-year transfer ban. But it's a great point. It is a good location, Thomas. I have nothing against the location, but yeah, it's. I mean, it's actually easier to get to as well. You always end up going through Earls Court, and the trains are just cramped up. It's you know, it's not great in that sense. But again, I haven't spent enough time in Earls Court to really know. I never really go there. You know, I don't get out at Earls Court and see what's going on. But yeah, you can still have your normal match day interactions. You can go to the same pubs if you want to go in Fulham or West Brompton. It's not difficult to get to Earls Court. It's a 20-minute walk. It's not bad at all. But again, it's all preference, isn't it? Johnny was right again. Big up to Johnny. CPO need to own the pitch of the new stadium. Simple. Absolutely. That. Oh my God. Irrespective of what happens, the CPO must be in full control. This is not something that we can ever relinquish. How many clubs in world football do you know that have this kind of power? That fans genuinely have this power? Not many clubs. So trust me, it's one of those things you want to hold on to forever. People go, well, you know, things could be better without it. No. Let the fans make their own decisions and let them live by those decisions. If we decide to stay and that's the wrong decision, at least we decided as a fan base ourselves. We didn't have American investors coming in and just moving the jigsaw puzzle. We have control of something. Utilize it. Clear Lake is not interested in winning, just profit. If we can get better and bigger stadiums at Earls Court, I would go. Is that because you're not able to get tickets at the moment? Is that the reason? Johnny was right, wasn't he? He just wished the brown envelopes in the pocket. Johnny was right, wasn't he? He just wishes the brown envelopes in the pocket channels woken up to the madness. Yeah, it's true. Again, I've spoken with Johnny, guys. I've spoken with him, so you don't need to keep telling me. I've heard it from him. Jackson and Mark Guiu injured. It looks peak right now. Is that confirmed? Not sure about that one. Injury news. I don't remember that. Injury problems with Jackson. I mean, I know of it, but I thought they would be okay. Shit. Well, if that is the case, then we're in trouble because our striker and our backup striker are injured. But don't bring in a striker. It's all going to be okay. Trust the process. If Chelsea move, the CPO need to own the new pitch. The only way we get out from where we are, completely agree with you, mate. Bring back queuing outside the bridge. Miss those days. I'm afraid that will never happen, but I can appreciate it. It was simpler times. It's totally different nowadays. Used to be a member, went to most games, cancelled because it's rubbish. Well, the memberships are, the memberships are quite pointless. Again, it's about who you know and how keen you are on going. If you go home and away, you'll always find people and they will help you out. But if you go to every other game, it's difficult to find people that will help you unless you've been going for a long time and maybe you still have those connections. Jason Ganny getting friendly with the CPO says it all. He wants Earls Court. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. There you go. Well said, Matty. The corruption is real. Reasons why we have these owners. I don't understand the question, Steve. I don't understand it. You're talking about Abramovich? You want a bigger stadium? Why do you want a bigger stadium, S? How can we move to Earls Court? I thought development was already going ahead. No, as far as I'm aware, the site is still on the market. It's probably on the market because of the links with us, because we can pay an inflated price. We're desperate. So we if we were to bid, we would be the highest bidder. I think that's probably why it's still available. What's happening? Okay. With the Boehly situation, I've been through it, mate. Just rewind the video. Go back to about 15 minutes when I started the live. I went through everything. But basically, vivid seats, which Boehly's on the chair of. The Chelsea supporters trust have responded, and that's what we went through earlier. What's the chance of Villa away tickets? I don't know. I mean, I've got 1, 2. I'm going with Kev, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if are they even on the virtual waiting room. I'm not sure. Bigger stadium to compete with the best teams in the world. That's a very valid point. I'll give you that. From a financial perspective, we do need some pull in that sense. CFC Daniel says, just wait until 14 US owners are in the Prem and they have full voting rights, no relegation, and the Prem games abroad. Yeah, goodness. Yeah, that's not great, is it? That's not great. God. Yeah, that would be a disgrace. I'm heavily against that. That's the worst thing possible. Unfortunately, that's the way it's moving, though, isn't it? That's the direction we're going. I have it on record that the Prem want games abroad. A local pub owner knows someone high up in the Prem, and it's been talked about and on the cards. It all makes sense why they wanted us to have US owners. How many American owners do we have at the moment? How many American owners in Premier League? 10. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. That's not good, guys. That is not good. 10 owners. Who are they? The Frying Group from Everton. They already own Roma, and now they've got Everton as well. Here we go. Arsenal, Stan Kroenke, Villa, V Sports, Bournemouth, Bill Foley, Chelsea, Clear Lake Capital, Crystal Palace, John Textor, the Friedkin Group, Everton, Shahid Khan from Fulham, Game Changer 20, Ipswich Town, FSG from Liverpool, and the Glazer family from United. Now, there is some positivity I can give you. Bill Foley, I know for a fact that he would vote against bringing games to America. He's been asked about that, and he's very much against that. And I've seen, what Bournemouth have done with Bill Foley. He's actually a good American owner. So there are good owners out there. He is a great owner for Bournemouth. Yeah. So if we're looking at the 14 clubs needing to vote for it, at the moment, you've got Bill Foley who would be against that. So you would have 9 clubs in favour, based on the fact that every other club would most likely go down that route. We certainly would. I don't know, Steve. I don't know. Woodshedder, hey Alex, love your matchday vlogs. You make us international supporters feel like we were there. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the message. Very kind. Most of the time I get a thing about my vlogs is how I don't get the goals. I like to watch the game, guys. I don't just want to film everything, but I try my best. 2 of them are currently top of the championship. Prem turning into the MLS. Who's in the championship? Who's top? Championship table. Leeds and Burnley. Fuck. Luton in the relegation zone. Mad. Goodness gracious me. So what? Sheffield's owned by Americans as well. God, they're everywhere. They're all over the gaff. Hi, Daniel, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you back on the live. Guys, have we got up to 50 likes yet? We've got about 50 of you in here. If you haven't already, smash the like button. It does help. It just, well, it basically tells me that you're enjoying it and encourages me and everyone else to continue running the live shows, which obviously I enjoy doing anyway. But it's a nice little pat on the back. We will be having another show tomorrow. We will have Lewis will be doing a video, and I will be doing the lunch show tomorrow, as well as an evening show as well. I think so. I should be doing the evening show as well. So yeah, tune in for that, guys. We've got 9 more minutes, so fire away if you've got any more questions. I do just want to quickly check if there's any more news updates regarding the club at the moment. Obviously, we've seen what the Chelsea Supporters Trust have come out and said. And, oh, fucking hell, there has been a few updates. Premier League, okay, let me share this with you. Nice one. Sorry, I should have checked this earlier on. The Premier League clubs are considering reducing the winter transfer window to 2 weeks and closing the summer transfer window before the beginning of the season. Oh, man, no, I don't like that. I want transfer season to be open-ended. I like a long transfer window. It's entertaining. Mark Guiu is expected to miss Chelsea's FA Cup 4th-round match at Brighton and Hove Albion after suffering a leg adductor injury. God, why? Why do you do this? Goodness. Fuck's sake. Ah, God. Guiu sustained the problem during added time of Chelsea's 2-1 win over West Ham. After coming on as a substitute in the second half to help turn the game around, the 19-year-old stretched awkwardly in trying to convert Pedro Neto's cutback in the area and received treatment from Chelsea's physio after staying down. The forward, who joined from Barcelona for €6 million last summer, is still looked in a lot of discomfort as he went down the tunnel with members of Chelsea staff straight after the final whistle. He has missed training sessions this week. Ah, goodness. He scored 8 goals in 13 appearances since moving to the Bridge, which is pretty good. But again, a lot of those are Conference League minutes, so take it with a pinch of salt. But I would have started him. I would have started him ahead of Jackson. And the fact that you've got to have Jackson in there again is just a bit of a bummer, really. So, yeah. God damn it. It's his upper leg. So we did conduct some tests. The hope is it's nothing too serious, but he's already been earmarked to miss the Brighton tie. So it's a precaution. It's not like he has to miss it. We just don't want to make that injury worse. But that is extremely upsetting because I would have 100% started him. Absolutely, I would have started him. God, I can't believe that. I can't believe what this is either. The Premier League's trying to shorten the bloody transfer window. I mean, what's the point of that? They're reducing the transfer window to 2 weeks and closing the summer transfer window before the beginning of the season. Where's the fun in that when everybody else around the world is doing transfers? It's going to completely unsettle our squads when we've done all the business that we can. And then you get a bid from Saudi, which is hard to turn down, but you know that you can't replace those players, that puts the Premier League at a severe disadvantage. So I don't see any logic to that. I don't understand, how does that benefit anyone? It makes, obviously it does make the clubs individually their lives easier. They can focus on the squad they have, but no, not for me, guys. Not for me. That's not what I would do. Anyone know the definitive workings on whether fifth place will get Champions League? That depends on the other English teams within the Champions League. For example, if we finish fifth and Liverpool won the Champions League and other teams in England done okay, it would be in our best interests for them to do well so that we could get that fifth spot. Not that we want them to win the Champions League, but if they do well, we do well, essentially. We want everyone from the Premier League to give us that extra spot. Yeah, I missed the Champions League anthem as well, Daniel. It's been a long time, hasn't it? But hopefully it's back next season. I really hope so, especially after 2 years without it. I'm not sure, Stephen. I'm not sure. Generally speaking, though, these samples aren't wrong. So I'd be surprised if the decision was reversed. But I hope obviously he comes back and there's no issues. 10 years, fuck, I hope not. 10 years is too long. If they did end up selling to the Saudis or the Qataris, though, that would be a nice ending, wouldn't it? Because we would have gone from people that are extremely money motivated to people who really have our best interests at heart and have no reason to sell. And that would be beautiful. But that's a long time away. That's another 7 years. But hey, I'll be here, irrespective of what happens. I will be here. It's more unsettling to start the season than still have transfers coming and going. I agree. Remember when Chelsea was full of chaps and proper men? Now we got little puffs crying. One of our billionaire owners owns a ticket site. 80% of the people crying have never been to more than 10 games. But it's the morals, dodgy geese. It's the morals. Do you not agree that if you are having tickets taken away from you? If I was to have kids and want to take them to games and can't access tickets because they're all on Vivid seats and they're not even eligible for UK sales, so I have US buyers taking tickets that I could bring my family to games with, would you not feel hard done by? And I can appreciate, understand that everyone feels like that, but I am totally on the side of no conflict of interest. I mean, don't run Vivid. What's the point? You're going to make a lot more money from Chelsea. And if you're going to make more money from Vivid seats, then maybe you should look the other way and look to sell your shares of the club. You can't do both. I mean, you clearly can because he's doing it, but that needs to be addressed. Yes, Guy will not be available against Brighton. He will not play. It is a precautionary measure. He has missed training sessions. So we hope that he can come back as soon as possible. We will be embarrassed at the Club World Cup tournament with our recruitment strategy. I mean, I'm planning on going out there, Steve. But, yeah, anyone who thinks we're going to win that competition, all right, guys, I respect the ambition. I mean, people called me last season deluded because I backed the team and the manager. Nah, we're not doing that well in that competition. But I'm going to have a great time in America regardless. So that'll be fun. If we get back in the Champions League, we will have more money to spend, and that will put us in a better position. So I'm going to say yes. But if we don't get in the Champions League, it's going to go totally the opposite direction. We need to be smart, but we've taken a big risk in January, and that's why I'm not a fan of it personally. Top Boehly is not selling Chelsea tickets. People post tickets on any site waiting for a buyer, then try to find the ticket to sell, if that makes sense. Yes, but the problem is that he's a director. He's getting a commission from these. He is directly in a conflict of interest. We're not saying he is selling them, but he is getting paid on both sides, and that's why it's wrong. Can I get Chelsea tickets without being a member? Absolutely. Of course you can. You just need to know people. And that's probably what I'd recommend more so than being a member. I think you'd be just as lucky to get, just as able to get tickets without a membership as you would with a membership. So you're coming to Greece on the 9th of March. You bought memberships, got a website at 10 a.m., but didn't find tickets. Welcome to the virtual waiting room, my friend. Welcome to the virtual waiting room. Don't think that you did anything wrong, because you probably didn't. That is why a lot of people are upset with Vivid Seats, because of what you have just spoken about. A lot of people have struggled to get tickets as well, mate. No chance we are going out there early. The only thing we get out of the Club World Cup will be raising Palmer's price tag, and he will be off to City. I hope not. I really hope not. I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen, to be honest. Even clubs who were motivated by money, like Tottenham, they'll keep their best players, because they're not going to spend money to replace them. How come I get tickets off Vivid for the last game of the season that haven't even been released officially by Chelsea FC? There you go. That's why it's concerning. What happened to the sponsorship is so embarrassing. We don't have one yet, and until the end of the season. Yet they're waiting for the Champions League money, waiting for the Jordan deal. So we'll have to see what happens there. Guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up there. It's been an hour, but I really appreciate you all watching. I've enjoyed chatting with you all, going through the response from the Chelsea Supporters Trust, as well as addressing the ownership situations with Vivid Seats, hearing your thoughts, and talking about a potential relocation from Stamford Bridge. If you haven't already, guys, smash the like button. Let's get up to 50 or 60 likes. If you haven't already liked the video, it takes a second. Just stick a thumbs up or a thumbs down, even if you don't like it, whatever. Listen, enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will be back at 1 o'clock tomorrow for the lunch stream. All the best, guys, and catch up soon.